I've got a couple of projects that I want to talk through, and I know I do go off at a tangent, which I've already been warned about, so I'm going to try and be quite succinct. So if there are any questions or discussion points that you want, then there'll be opportunities for that. So the projects that I mentioned here are August, Sander and Georg Baselit'z, our Artist Rooms exhibitions. Unfortunately, I missed out the Gerhard Richter, which was actually quite significant when I was putting this together. So just a little bit of context, because I think that's quite important for where we are. I've got no claim of the sort of on the innovation use of digital technologies in our projects. That's not what it's about. We're using existing digital platforms, and the innovation lies more in the creative programming of that. They're low-cost projects, and we use low-level platforms. And hopefully these projects will show you what's achievable at this level. The digital technology is the tool to achieve our outcomes. It isn't the driver for the projects. So the ideas and the behind what we want to achieve is the driver, and the way that we achieve that is by using a tool, which is the digital tool. So this just gives you some idea if you haven't been to Leicester or Newark Museum. We're a growing city. We're one of the 10th largest in the country. We're becoming more youthful, so the average age is 31, which just puts me as an old age pensioner within the city. We have a really sort of good cultural diversity makeup, so 45% is white UK. So we have that cultural diversity within our city. We're a local authority. We have 5 museum sites, and we have 420,000 visitors a year over those 5 sites. But these exhibitions that I'm talking about were based at Newark Museum, and that has about 220,000 visitors a year. Our visitors reflect the demographic of our city as well. One of the things that I really want to get across as well is we have a lot of institutional restraints, which I'm sure a lot of you that have come today may encounter that. We're not allowed to build external websites. You'll see that we have, so we've managed to get around it. We have a lot of issues with procurement, particularly with IT. Our IT department don't support any Apple, they only support PCs, so we get no support there. The procedures that we have to go through, the sponsorship opportunities that are there for us, but we can't link up with those particular companies because we're a local authority. So we have quite a lot of restraints on us, and I think these projects will show you how we've got around that and that it's achievable, because if a lot of you might come across that, and there's just creative ways of going around it, like you would do creative budgeting. So, not that I said that. Okay. So the 3 exhibitions that I'll talk about, or the projects relating to them, are the Gerhard Richter in 2010, August Sander in 2012, and we've got Georg Baselit'z coming up this year. These are all German artists that we selected for our artist rooms because we have a significant German expressionist collection at Newark Museum. That's going through its redevelopment at the moment. So this is where we started with Gerhard Richter. We had a creative vision of what we wanted to do. We had a creative vision of what we wanted our visitor and our participant to experience, and what we wanted them to feel about looking at contemporary art, what we wanted them to feel when they stood in front of a Richter painting. And what we had to think was, how are we going to engage them with it? How are we going to improve their confidence with them looking at contemporary art? You know, the way that we thought that we wanted to do it and the way that we actually did it matched really, really well, so that's great. So what we had to work out is how we were going to do it. So ideally what we wanted was the people, our audiences, to stand in front of these paintings and have a response. And we wanted to do that would give them greater depth of engagement and would also increase their confidence. So we were looking at an interpretation guide which was mainly visual and not text-based. We had a little bit of text on it. The reading age in Leicester at that point was, I think, age 8. It was really low. A lot of the citizens of Leicester can talk English, but they can't speak it. So it's really important what we were trying to do. Also, contemporary art was quite new to our audiences. and particularly the region of Richter. So we wanted to instill that confidence in our users. We needed a device that could be portable around the gallery. We needed a device that could be shared as a group. We needed something that would provide the quality of image visually, something that you could possibly zoom in and out. So that's where we sort of identified that the tool to do that would be iPads. And at this point, when we were looking at them, they weren't in the country. So it was quite a hard win to get for our funders, who advised us to go for iPods rather than iPads, but they were not suitable for what we wanted to do. So the idea was there first before the technology. The technology was the vehicle to carry that idea through. So we worked with young people. They produced the content for our interpretation guide. They were used by our visitors in the museum. They were only used in the gallery. They had no Wi-Fi hookup at all because we didn't have that in the gallery. So they were used standalone as a tool, standalone tool, that they couldn't deviate out of the program. They could, but they'd get to calendar and they'd get to stopwatch, and they wouldn't actually be able to link up to the internet, which was quite handy. They could only use it in that gallery because it actually related to the artwork they were standing in front of, and that was really, really important. We were the first museum and gallery in the UK to use iPads for our audiences and for our participants. And we also noticed they had a significant impact on dwell time. So dwell time without an iPad was 17 minutes. With an iPad, went up to 45 minutes. So it significantly increased the dwell time on gallery. So it led to change our service interpretation strategy as well. And the success of this program fed into other projects. This is a video of the screenshots. And I was laughing when I was putting this together because we've got an instruction of how to use the gesture control, the pinch and squeeze, and the zoom in, zoom out. And there was even a video for them to watch so that they could do it. So this is just a sign of the times, really. That was in 2010. We don't need that now. So we worked with a program developer because at the time there wasn't an app that actually accommodated film, photography, audio, pictures and words. So we had to work and have our own app built. What's quite interesting is the middle one at the bottom is a visual of the exhibition of the gallery. I better hurry up. We didn't have the actual artworks displayed on there because the idea was you were supposed to be in front of the artwork. So why would you need an image in front of you on an iPad? There's no point, you're standing in front of the artwork. And these were things that our young people picked up for us and changed the content quite dramatically. I'm going to zoom on. We then moved on to August Sander. This project we worked with our marketing, and our marketing had a project with young people from De Montfort University. It was a live marketing project where they had a brief which related to how to market the August Sander exhibition. We then, in learning, took what they had produced, so they then produced the Sandergram icon, which we'll come on to, the name Sandergram, which was a twist on Instagram, and then a Twitter-based project sort of was born, #Sandergram. There's lots of other things on that slide that you can ask me about that I'm not going to go through, but I just want to point out that the funding for this was 9.5 thousand, and Learning did it with 7.5, so it's quite a small budget for what we did. So the icon and the #Sandergram were adopted by Learning, and that fed through into our online gallery project. So we had a website, basically. So like I said, we're just using the platforms that are there. We are not inventing anything new to do with digital. We're just using the platforms. And this became the bond between the marketing and the learning. And it was about maximising reach by utilising social media. All the branding featured on all our products, so everything related. And also everything sent people back through the Sandergram website, not through our local authority website. It went back, all the traffic fed back through that website. And I think it's that direction of where you take people and where you want to push them that's quite important. This is the icon, and we had a QR code, which again, I just think is really funny because I don't know anyone that uses QR codes anymore. But at the time, we thought, yeah, people use them. Yeah, we'll have a QR code as well. So that's sort of an example of, just doing things for the sake of doing things, I think, without actually realising. So the online gallery was for the public to submit their images. So we went from a large formal learning project with the biggest FE provider in the region to produce product from their students across all of their photography and media courses. They embedded the project within their curriculum. It then extended into the public realm, where the public could respond to their photographs and also to the Sander exhibition to then submit their images onto our website, which then became an online gallery. These are all the, it should say outputs, because I know there's a lot of learning people in here. These are all the outputs from learning. Okay. What's quite key is that the course tutors were blogging. They have their own blogs, so they then blogged about the Sandergram. All the students were tweeting, Facebooking. Leicester College, all our partners had all their own websites and then volumised the project there and redirected it back through Sandergram. So the way that we worked with our partners and with our sponsors, they pushed all the traffic back through Sandergram website. Okay. These are a couple of examples of the products that were produced. So we had billboards, we had poster sites, and the QR code on the billboard was like huge, which is completely unnecessary. We had exhibitions, we had digital exhibitions on iPads, etc. This really just tells you what I've just explained. So the actual online gallery became a physical gallery. So we selected 75 works from the online gallery. These were then displayed alongside the Leicester College's pupils' work in our local, it's called Leicester Pupils Photographic Gallery. There were prizes. Again, this fed back to Sandergram. So the pupils' voting was done through the website, and the announcement of the 20 prints that were accessioned from this collection from this exhibition into our collection were also listed on the website. We got some good data analysis from that website, which has informed us about how our audiences use the social media. And I've got to hurry up. So this is the next thing. What's next? The Georg Baselit'z. So the focus on this is we have an engagement space external to the exhibition. The way that we're using digital here is, again, as a tool for inputting data and dialogue from our audiences. And so we have a bank of data. And what I find with exhibitions is you tend to have paper feedback forms and they just get left, sit in a box, and they're just used for advocacy. You pull out one because it's a good quote. So with this exhibition, what's important to me is what we do with that data. And so we're intending to turn the dialogue that we have with our audiences into a script. Don't know how we're going to do that yet, but that's the challenge that I've got to do. And then have this script acted out through different media, so different artists. So that's what we're trying to do with Baselit'z next. But again, we're just using digital as a tool to collate data, and the rest of the exhibition is circulated around that, but we go back to the original artwork. Okay, thank you.